Do you know what Nicholas is up to? Felix was supposed to keep track of Nicholas' every move, but he had overlooked his duty because he was too preoccupied with the breakup with Isabel. Infuriated upon learning Nicholas' scheme, he stormed in and pulled off his blazer, looking all flushed from the rushing. What does he think he's doing? I swear this guy is a maniac. He's getting the world's best hypnotist to help him. We all know what he's after, he raged as the three stared at him. Charles was staggered at the news. This guy is deranged. It's clear as day that Sophie has no feelings for him. Why is he so obsessed? He's completely nuts. What should we do now, Mr. Tristan? Is Sophie aware of this? I suppose we should let her know what is going on. We should. I'll talk to her tonight. I need a foolproof plan. This guy is not leaving Jipsdale alive, Tristan replied, clenching his fists subconsciously. There was no way he would allow anyone to do anything to his woman. Nodding at Tristan's statement, Sean assured, "Don't worry. I'll make the arrangements. You should keep Sophie company just in case he makes a move on her." The lawyer knew Tristan would be shattered if he ever lost Sophie. That night, Tristan headed straight to the medical association to pick Sophie up. Upon seeing her, he pulled her into his arms. "What's the matter? Did something happen?" Sophie asked, noticing that Tristan was behaving differently. "Let's get in the car first," Tristan answered curtly. Without heeding the glances thrown at them, he held her by the waist and walked her to the car. Having opened the door for her and watched her enter, he got into the driver's seat. "What's going on? You look bothered," Sophie asked again, worried. "It's about Nicholas Sable. I think it's time we finish him off for good." From how Tristan held her hand, Sophie could tell the man must have found out about something. "Relax. I know he got a hypnotist, but you have nothing to worry about. I know what to do. I'll just kill him and get this done and over with. It's so annoying having to deal with him constantly." Tristan snapped, exasperated that Nicholas kept coming between him and Sophie. "I'm going to erase his memory of me. This is how I'll get rid of him so he won't be a nuisance to us anymore." When Sophie saw Tristan's worry, she divulged her plan, hoping it would appease him. "Well, no one knows what the hypnotist looks like. Nicholas has never met the person before either. So, I plan to get hold of that hypnotist before Nicholas does and swap them for someone else. We can pretty much eliminate all the risks that way." "Sounds like a plan. Let's work together. I'll get the hypnotist," Tristan volunteered. He figured getting one's hands on the hypnotist would be difficult since a big shot like them would usually have bodyguards protecting them. "Great. I knew you would help me out." The couple was on the same page about the plan since an attempt on Nicholas' life would invite vengeance from his family. But on the contrary, if he had no memory of Sophie to begin with, Tristan and Sophie would not have to antagonize the Sable family. That was the best solution for everyone because it would not endanger Tristan's and Sophie's families and friends. Tristan and Sophie were less worried for themselves than for those they loved since the two could well protect themselves, given their capabilities. Having known Sophie for a long time, Tristan knew just what she was worried about. Later that night, Tristan brought Sophie to meet Sean, who agreed readily to Sophie's plan when he found out about it. "This is truly the best thing we can do. Old Mr. Sable is not someone we can afford to cross. Nicholas is his only son, so he'll definitely avenge his son's death, but if we erase Nicholas' memory, then no one will be harmed. So, we're catching the hypnotist now. I can do that. I don't have anything else to do anyway," Felix remarked, rubbing his chin. With Isabel still upset with him and refusing to see him, he felt frustrated to the core and was craving an assignment to take his mind off Isabel. "Are you sure? It's going to be a difficult task. You'll have to go through many bodyguards before getting to the hypnotist. Powerful people like them are usually vigilant. Come on, Mr. Tristan. You have nothing to worry about. I know how important this is. I won't let you all down." "Felix," Sean interrupted, "I think I should go instead. You'd better stay back with how things are between you and Isabel. She'll get madder if you leave now." Although Sean was convinced that Felix would pull off the job well, he believed that Felix should first solve his problem with Isabel before doing anything else. After all, relationships were important. Sean is right, Felix. You should stay back and sort things out with Isabel. None of the people present truly believed Felix would break up with Isabel. She and I both need time to cool off, and this is the perfect opportunity for me to do so, Felix insisted. Fine. Felix. You will be in charge of this, but Sean will be following. I think you should go with a partner. Sean nodded in agreement at the proposal. What about me? Is there anything I can do? Charles asked, feeling left out. I have something else for you to do, Tristan said calmly. All right. Having hashed out their plan, everyone had dinner together until a call interrupted the meal. Seeing it was Isabel, Sophie got up to speak with her outside since she did not want to upset Felix. Who is it? Just pick up the call here, the men asked. To them, Sophie was a friend close enough for them to risk their lives for her, so they could not understand why she did not feel at home around them. It's Isabel, Tristan replied instead. He saw the caller earlier since he was sitting right next to Sophie. Charles and Sean glanced at Felix at the mention of that name. What on earth happened, Felix? What's with the fight? Everything has been going well between the two of. How did things come to this point? The fight sure is dragging out. Everyone wondered if the breakup was serious. At the question, Felix poured himself a glass of alcohol and answered, Don't ask me, man. I have no idea what happened. As you said, everything was fine until the fight broke out. Charles shook his head at the sight. I think you should just give up. You guys are not married yet, so it's still not too late to break it off. At least both families won't be affected. Felix glared at Charles and chastised. Cut the nonsense. There's no way I'm giving up. Do you think this is all a game to me? Despite the agony the relationship had caused him, he truly loved Isabel and did not wish to let her go. Charles shrugged in response. From his point of view, he was giving some frank advice, for he believed one should be decisive in ending an unhappy relationship, but Felix disregarded his comments altogether. He saw no point in listening to someone who had never been in a relationship. What do you know? Felix blurted, unwilling to waste his time explaining the situation to Charles. When Sophie had finished talking over the phone, she returned to her seat only to realize Felix had his gaze fixed on her before he let out a subtle sigh. What happened? He finally asked. Nothing, really. Isabel is doing fine. I feel she's doing better after the breakup. She's going to Jetroina for a concert. The truth was Sophie herself was startled when she learned that Isabel was leaving for Jetroina, for she was unaware that the latter's fame had spread abroad. What? Jetroina? Felix exclaimed in disbelief. Yes, but I need to talk to Xandra about this after I return to TS Entertainment. She already has Isabel's career projectile planned out. I see, Felix muttered in disappointment. That's the thing. She never tells me anything. If she goes to Jetroina for a concert, I suppose we won't see each other for some time. Does this mean she doesn't want to see me anymore? With that thought, Felix left to find Isabel once dinner was over. Although it was late, she was still practicing at TS Entertainment and would not have taken a breather had her assistant not complained about her growling stomach. But the two ran into Felix just as they went out. He had been waiting at the door. Well, that's my cue to leave. Isabel, the assistant said tactfully when she saw Felix. Wait up. I'm leaving with you. I have nothing to do with him anymore. Isabel did not want to fight Felix at the company's front door since paparazzi were around. On the other hand, Felix felt vexed and hurt when he saw Isabel turning away when she had clearly seen him earlier. He had no idea how their relationship ended up hitting a patch as rough, so he got into his car and followed the two women. When Isabel and her assistant had had dinner, Felix was still waiting in his car. Seeing this, the assistant urged, Isabel, why don't you go over and talk things out with him? We can't have him following you all the time, right? Just ignore him. He has nothing to do with me, so he can do whatever he wants. Don't let him bother you. Just like that, the two returned to the company, with Felix still tailing them. Although Felix understood that Isabel refused to talk to him, he still followed her because, in such a way, he could still watch her from afar at least. He knew it was humiliating for him to do so. He was the one who spoke to her harshly in the first place, but he loved her to the extent where he could let down his ego for her. Meanwhile, Tristan and Sophie went to the hospital after dinner. When they arrived, Wendy was still looking after Wilma, who had already recovered and had Sophie's approval to get discharged. After the lot arrived home, Wendy poured everyone some drinks while Wilma sat on the couch. When she had braced herself, she finally spoke. "Ms. Sophie, I've decided to leave for a while. I can't be myself if I stay here," Wilma announced. She had been striving and working hard without rest since the day she arrived in the city. At that point, she felt worn out and only hoped to take a break. But Wendy was worried about her. "Where are you going, Ms. Linker? What will happen to Transfix Cosmetics without you? We need you here. Must you leave? We are all so happy together." Indeed, they had weathered the most challenging time together at Transfix Cosmetics. Wendy could not understand why Wilma chose to leave when the company had finally made it and was about to go public. The news disquieted Wendy because she and Wilma had battled through the hardest time together. To her, Wilma was giving up everything because of that useless man. "It's all his fault. I'm going to kill him. Listen to me, Wendy. All good things must come to an end. Besides, it's not like I'm never coming back again. For all you know, I might return when I'm well rested. I'm just too tired now." Tears welled up in Wendy's eyes as she listened to Wilma. "But I can't let you leave in this state." "I'm worried," Wendy replied. "You have nothing to worry about, Wendy. I won't do anything stupid. I want to live a long and good life. Say something, Ms. Sophie. Say something to Ms. Linker." "I don't know what else I should say to her to change her mind," Wendy begged in desperation. She was not good with words and was at a loss for words to comfort Wilma. Sophie nodded and chimed in. "Ms. Linker, I won't stop you if that's what you want. You have my full support no matter where you choose to go. Just rest for a bit and forget everything about work." "I will, Ms. Sophie. Thank you for the kind words," Wilma replied, nodding in gratitude. "No worries. I believe you have my contact, so feel free to call me any time if you need anything." Sophie was on Wilma's side because she was not as cruel as to force Wilma to continue working, given her condition. Sure, Wendy kept wiping away her tears when it dawned upon her that there was nothing else she could do to keep Wilma. "Come on, Wendy. Don't cry. I believe you want me to be happy too, right?" Wilma consoled, patting Wendy on the back. "Yes, Ms. Linker. I want you to be happy, but you must promise me you will never do anything rash again." "I promise." With that word of promise, Wilma left the company she single-handedly founded, and no one knew where she went. As for Wendy, introverted as she was, she plunged herself into the company's affairs after Wilma's departure, working away diligently. She had decided to do her best to safeguard Transfix Cosmetics because she understood how much the company meant to Wilma. She believed that Wilma would return one day as long as she kept the company in good shape. Meanwhile, Sophie had just acquired information about the hypnotist at Wings of Light. Padma Ferdinand was a world-class hypnotist from Frosa, but apart from this information, no one had ever seen them in person. Not only was their photo off limits, but they also had a secret organization backing them. In fact, Nicholas could not have found them if it was not for the hefty price he paid. When Butterfly saw the hypnotist's details and discovered what Nicholas was up to, she became thoroughly convinced that that man was mentally ill. "Sophie, dealing with Padma is going to be difficult. Mr. Tristan might be able to get rid of their bodyguards, but not the organization behind them." "I understand," Sophie replied pensively, wondering what the mysterious organization was. "But I think we will be fine if we don't hurt Padma." Since there would always be people more powerful than they were out there, Butterfly figured they should not risk offending Padma. Felix and Sean are already on their way. Everything will be okay as long as they can stop Padma. On the other side, Nicholas was sipping red wine in front of a floor-to-ceiling window while Richard stood behind him. Boss, Padma is on their way. Good. I hope everything goes well. Do you think Sophie knows about this? Nothing goes under her nose unnoticed. I'm not sure. I have a bad feeling about this, actually. We should get someone to impersonate Padma to get away from Sophie. Given Sophie's wit and hacking ability, the assistant believed she would not just sit idly by if she found out about their plot. She must have cooked up a counteractive plan. You're right, Nicholas agreed. Although this was a feud between Sophie and him, the former had Tristan on her side, which decreased Nicholas' chances of winning. Yet, Nicholas thought he should at least give it a shot since Padma was his only solution to the situation. Despite the clandestine nature of his plan, Sophie might well have figured out what he was up to. But luckily, no one had seen Padma before, so there was no guarantee as to whether Sophie and her friends would get the right person. In the meantime, Felix and Sean flew to Frosa after Sophie informed them about Padma's flight and bought them tickets for the same plane. Once boarded, Sean began observing all the passengers, only to find more than 10 bodyguards he suspected to be in Padma's service. However, because the bodyguards were dispersed across the plane and did not seem to pay particular attention to anyone, Sean and Felix could not deduce from their actions who Padma was. This is going to be a tough one. We don't even have a photo of this Padma, Sean remarked, feeling like he had hit a dead end. Likewise, Felix was also keeping a close eye on everyone. Most of the passengers were people from Frosa and were of similar age. You're right. This is far from easy, but we must find this person. Mr. Tristan and Sophie are at risk here. The last thing Felix wanted to see was Sophie being brainwashed into believing that Nicholas was the person she loved. This would utterly break Tristan's heart. The flight from Frosa to Jipsdale took more than 10 hours, but even then, Sean and Felix could not make out who Padma was. Soon, the plane landed at the airport in Jipsdale, and everyone was getting ready to disembark. Left with no other recourse, Felix and Sean split up when they saw the guards walk away in different directions. Sean and Felix thought their mission might fail when the guards' actions did not give away Padma's identity. Indeed, up to the point when they left the plane, they still had not figured out who Padma was, so Sean immediately called Tristan. We didn't find Padma. I bet they know we're looking for them. We're up against some powerful people. Noted. My men will be getting you guys, Tristan replied. Earlier he had dispatched 10 guards to aid Sean and Felix, but with the two stuck in limbo, it seemed like this extra help would be useless. Hey, look at that person, Sean suddenly whispered when he caught a suspicious person walking into the restroom. Let's go, Felix ordered as he followed the person, feeling the man was also behaving unusually. Once they entered, they grabbed the dubious man, who barked, "What are you all doing? Get your hands off, or I'll kill you too." Sean and Felix exchanged glances at the threat. They dragged him away without hesitation when they saw the tattoo on the man's arm. "What is going on? Who do you think you are?" The man stuttered in broken Chenian. "We're sorry, Mr. Ferdinand. You're coming with us. Don't worry. You'll be safe in our hands." "Mr. Ferdinand? I'm no Mr. Ferdinand. Let me go. You guys got the wrong person. I'm suing you all. Sorry to say, but he's the best lawyer in Jipsdale, so go ahead if you want to sue us," Felix shouted as he tugged the man away. As for Sean, he did not leave right away, for he had an unfinished task. There were more than 100 people on the flight whom he had taken pictures of on the sly back in the plane. Since Sean could not even tell if the person Felix took was Padma, the only way forward was to have all those people tailed. After some time, Sean went to meet Tristan and the rest. "Honestly speaking, I don't even know if that man is Padma. No one has seen this person before." Sean spelled his confusion. "Exactly. Are your men keeping tabs on the other passengers?" Tristan asked. "They are, but we don't know when Nicholas will make a move. It's not like we can keep an eye on all those people forever. At this point, Charles weighed in with his 2 cents. Well, I think we should just lock Nicholas up. That's the best way to save us all the trouble. He believed that what Tristan and the others were doing was but a waste of time. That's our last resort. If there's really nothing we can do, I guess we will have to catch Nicholas. Sometimes, one could not help but think Nicholas had luck on his side, for it took just a person like him to cause so much trouble for everyone. Don't worry, Mr. Tristan. We will do our very best. Everything will be fine. Thank you for all the hard work. Anyway, I'd better get going. I need to pick Sophie up. I won't be staying for dinner then, Tristan said. Okay, the 3 men answered when they saw how worried Tristan looked. They understood how he felt, so they did not insist on him staying for dinner. When Tristan arrived at the medical association and did not see Sophie outside, he went in to look for her. We are not sure if the person we got is Padma, he informed the moment he saw her. I see. Don't worry about it. Frustrated, Tristan pulled her into his arms, saying, Why don't we just catch Nicholas? I can't bear the thought of losing you. Trust me. This is the best solution to our problem. I promise you we will stay together, get married, and even have our own children. I don't want the Sable family to come after us for the rest of our lives. We have nothing to lose, but I don't want our children to face this with us. Holding Sophie gently, Tristan added, I can protect you and our children. The Sable family can't do anything to us. Nicholas is old Mr. Sable's only son. We will be incurring the family's wrath if we kill him. Besides, you need to think of your family too. Tristan felt the situation was driving him to his wits' end. I can erase Nicholas' memory as long as Padma doesn't intercept. For the past few days, Sophie had been doing extensive research on hypnosis and had tried it out on victims who wished to get rid of painful memories, and the result was promising. Sophie, if your plan doesn't work out, we will have to go with my plan, Tristan suggested. He understood that different people had distinct ways of approaching a matter, but for him, his solution was to put an end to Nicholas. All right. We will get rid of him together if my plan fails. Sophie agreed. She would do anything to stay with Tristan, even if it meant soiling her hands with blood. Leave that to me. I don't want anything to weigh on your conscience. Boss, Ms. Tanner and the others must have found out about the plan. If that's true, our chances of success may be compromised, Richard said. It'll be extremely difficult to manipulate her memory now that they've become vigilant. So, what's your next plan? Give up. I've come this far, so don't expect me to give up. No way. Where's Padma? Where on earth is he? Nicholas bellowed. At that exact moment, a knock sounded at the door. After opening the door, Richard saw a Shanian girl in her 20s standing outside. Who are you? Richard stared at the girl warily. I'm Padma. Padma Ferdinand. The girl, a native of Chonea, possessed a pair of captivating eyes that would leave a lasting impression on anyone who beheld them. Richard narrowed his eyes. We don't have time for your games, young lady. Please leave. Despite his reputation for being amiable, Richard had no patience to spare for games. With a formidable opponent to confront, he had no intention of wasting time on a young girl. I'm Padma, the young lady reiterated steadily. You guys wanted my help to alter someone's memory. Right. You said you're Padma, but how can you prove yourself? Richard exclaimed. Though they were in search of Padma, they had never laid eyes on her before, leaving them clueless about her appearance. What do you mean? If you wish to cancel the mission, go ahead and do it. Padma began to feel annoyed. I traveled all this distance only to be treated with such disrespect. How can they treat me like this? I don't need your money anyway. Let's just call off this deal. The infuriated Padma was about to turn around and leave. It's just 100 million. No big deal. Nicholas immediately got out and stopped the young girl from leaving. Are you really Padma? The girl took out her ID card and showed him. Nicholas nodded. She's indeed Padma. Now that we've met, here's my phone number. Call me when you've made all the arrangements, Padma said. She needed to maintain a distance from them to avoid arousing suspicion. After ending her sentence, Padma left. Everyone assumed the guards were there to protect her, but in reality, she always stayed away from them. If she were seen with the guards, she would become an easy target for others. Padma was astute enough to recognize the risks involved in such a situation. Boss, is she really Padma? After the girl left, Richard was still in a daze. How can someone so young become a world-renowned hypnotist? Yes, that's her, Nicholas said. People would not associate a pretty young lady with the master of hypnosis, as they assumed the person to be a male. That was why numerous assassins failed to get her out of the way. However, it was evident that such geniuses did exist, and Sophie served as a prime example. She was a medical prodigy no one could surpass. So now, how can we convince Ms. Tanner to meet with us? She has no trust in us whatsoever. Richard voiced his concern. We can't simply force our way through because Ms. Tanner is not someone who can be easily manipulated. I told you to bring that person over. Have you done that? Nicholas asked. He wanted Sophie to cooperate with him, but he knew she would never do that. Yes, Richard replied. Send a few men to capture Butterfly. Once we have her, Sophie will be compelled to come and look for me, Nicholas said. All right, boss. Initially, Nicholas singled out Isabel as his target, but she was surrounded by a strong security detail. Hence, it would be difficult to capture Isabel. Butterfly might possess some combat skills, but without anyone to protect her, she would be vulnerable and an easy target. Meanwhile, Butterfly suspected she was being followed since she left Wings of Light. A corner of her lips quirked up. Oh, Nicholas. You'll do anything to get what you want, huh? Richard and his men swiftly moved forward, intercepting Butterfly and preventing her from leaving. Ms. Sekelsky, my boss is looking for you. Please come with us. Richard maintained a respectful demeanor when he approached Butterfly. Why is he looking for me? Tell him I have nothing to talk to him about, Butterfly said. Initially, she felt gratitude for him saving her life, but upon learning about the heinous acts he had committed, her impression of him turned negative. Relationships can't be forced, but he went ahead and did all sorts of crazy things. Ms. Sekelsky, you should know we don't want to do it the hard way, Richard uttered. Butterfly smirked before turning around and running away. Knowing she was no match for Richard, she decided to make a run for it while she still had the chance. I can't risk bringing trouble to Sophie. Richard knitted his brows. Why can't she just cooperate with us? She just wants us to do it the hard way, huh? Catch that woman, but don't hurt her. Richard was aware of Butterfly's significance to Sophie. That was why he ordered his subordinates not to cause her any harm. Butterfly possessed some decent combat skills, but they paled in comparison to the expertise of the professional mercenaries she was up against. Within a short period of time, they successfully captured Butterfly. Richard, what's the point of all this? Sophie has no interest in your boss. Everything he's doing is in vain, she said. Richard did not answer her. Don't talk to me about it. I only take orders from my boss, he replied. He was not in any position to judge right from wrong. Meanwhile, Sophie tried contacting Butterfly but to no avail. She knew something must have happened to her. Nicholas must have taken Butterfly away. I'll go and get her back, Tristan said. Nicholas is a fanatic who will go to any lengths to achieve his goals. You don't need to. Let's use his own tactics against him. He needed an opportunity, and so do I, Sophie said. It's time to see who's more capable. He must have met that master of hypnosis, Tristan said. Otherwise, he wouldn't have captured this point. Sophie hummed in agreement. I want to meet the hypnotist and see how skilled she truly is. Sophie, what if you forget about me? Tristan could not bear the thought of it. Sophie gave him a peck on his lips. What are you talking about? How can I forget about you? Sophie replied. It's impossible. You've become essential part of my mind. But she's a world-class hypnotist, Tristan said. Who knows what she can do? Sophie hugged him tightly and whispered in his ear. Just trust me. Nothing will go wrong this time. And I'll settle this once and for all, Sophie assured him. Now it's the best time to put an end to this nonsense. But I don't want you to go, Sophie, Tristan exclaimed. He did not want her to leave because he could not bear the thought of any unforeseen circumstances occurring. Tristan, this is the best time to get him to forget about me. I don't want him to disturb our lives anymore, Sophie said. Having someone get in their way was a nuisance, and she wanted to end it. Given that Sophie had made her decision, there was no way he would interrupt her. Yet he wasn't going to let anything untoward happen to her. Satisfied with the trust Tristan had in her, Sophie wrapped her arms around his neck and delivered him a kiss. Don't worry. Just trust me. She was already skilled in hypnosis. I've always trusted you. He wouldn't have allowed such brazenness if he didn't. Sophie's kiss intensified upon hearing his words. Whatever my decision, he has always supported me and has never wavered before. As Isabel had been busy with her dance recently, Sophie didn't tell her about the matter. Upon Felix's return, he followed her everywhere she went as if he was a stalker. Unable to endure it any further, Isabel confronted him. Felix, what's wrong with you? Why are you following me everywhere? It's been a long time since I saw you, Isabel, replied Felix smilingly. What am I to do? I realized I couldn't forget you. Can we not break up? I'm really sorry for what happened. Felix, let's just take a break from each other. Even though you would pacify me every time I'm angry, you have no idea what you've done wrong. Even if we reconcile this time, it's just a matter of time before we break up again. Isabel had given the matter a lot of thought. She wanted both of them to have the time and space to properly consider what kind of person the other wanted as a lover. Isabel, do you really want to break up? Felix inched closer and gave her a hug. I do. In that case, I respect your decision. When I'm not around, please take care of yourself, all right? Even under those circumstances, Felix maintained his gentle demeanor. A burning sensation stung Isabel's nose. I can't go soft on him. I have to stay strong no matter what. In that case, I'll send you home. We might have broken up, but I'm sure we're still friends. It's probably not a big deal at all. It's fine. I still have work to do with Sonny. With that, Isabel turned and left without sparing him another glance. Thereafter, Felix took out a cigarette from his pack. After lighting it up, he sat in his car alone, smoking. He knew that he shouldn't have said what he said, but he just couldn't control himself back then. Truth be told, it was more of him needing to learn how to love someone better than an issue with Isabel. Meanwhile, when Richard brought Butterfly to Nicholas, Butterfly couldn't help but sneer at the sight of him. Do you know what you're doing, Nicholas? How can you do this to me? Do you really think Sophie will do your bidding just because you are holding me hostage? Butterfly was feeling upset, as she had been Sophie's right-hand man all this while. Little did she expect to end up being the latter's burden instead. You should just get some rest. Nicholas didn't want to waste any more time with her, for he couldn't care less about what others thought about him. All that mattered to him was results. Don't act recklessly, Nicholas. I'm telling you this sincerely. Loving someone doesn't mean that you must have her. You should know when to stop. As he had saved her before, she didn't want him to walk down the path of doom. Her words ignited an insidious glint in Nicholas' eyes. Butterfly, don't speak as if you know me. You don't. You guys don't even believe that I have feelings for Sophie, but I do. In fact, I'm willing to do anything to bring her to my side. Nicholas, plenty of people in this world have their love unrequited. Time will heal all wounds. Butterfly didn't give up on convincing him. Richard, take her away. I don't want to hear another word from her. He had no intention of turning back from the path he had embarked upon. Nicholas dash. Before Butterfly could say anything else, Richard had taken her to another room. Don't do this, Richard. As Nicholas' subordinate, I'm sure you care about him. It will all end badly if you proceed with this. Nicholas has saved my life before, Richard, so I'm not out to harm him. I really want the best for all of you. You had better rest here, Ms. Sekelsky. No one can stop Boss once he has set his mind on something. If he wants Ms. Tanner, he'll get Ms. Tanner. Richard's obedience toward Nicholas was absolute. Regardless of how dangerous the task was, he would carry it out unconditionally as long as Nicholas willed it. Just as Butterfly wanted to follow him out, she noticed that the place was filled with mercenaries. It was clear to her that Nicholas was prepared to risk everything in one shot. Richard. However, the mercenaries outside blocked Butterfly's way, stopping her from leaving. What are you doing? Do you know who I am? I'm Nicholas' guest, and I'll go wherever I want to. Butterfly fumed. I'm sorry, Ms. Sekelsky. We understand that you're a guest of the boss, but he wants you to rest, so please do so here. Don't make it difficult for us. Without any warning, Butterfly slammed a kick into the mercenary's leg. Despite the rage he felt, he had no choice but to endure it, for his boss did order them not to hurt Butterfly. After being forced back into her room, Butterfly had no way of speaking with Nicholas anymore. It was then that Richard returned to Nicholas' side. Boss, now that we have kidnapped the target, what do you plan on doing next? Padma had already arrived by then. We'll just wait for Sophie to come. She'll definitely be here, as she cares for Butterfly a lot. The perfect opportunity will present itself then. Boss. Sophie is really strong, and this is Tristan's turf. I'm worried that we would suffer tremendous losses if they barge in here aggressively. I will not change my mind regardless of the sacrifice or consequences. That was all Nicholas had to say. Right then, someone came in from outside. Boss, Ms. Tanner is here. She is waiting outside alone. The corner of Nicholas' lips curled into a smile. She's here, just as expected. I know her like the back of my hand. Bring her in. Richard, how does my suit look? Do I look good? He had wanted to show his best side to Sophie. Boss, it looks good on you. You look fantastic. Good. Nicholas was finally satisfied. When Sophie entered and saw Nicholas, she kicked him to the ground without any hesitation. As her rage didn't come as a surprise, Nicholas didn't fight back at all. Boss. Richard, too, was caught off guard by Sophie's attack. As the entire place was crawling with heavily armed mercenaries, there was no way the latter could fight her way out. What are you doing? Ms. Tanner. Richard questioned her directly. Isn't it obvious? I'm teaching him a lesson. Sophie flexed her wrist to loosen it. Do you want one too? She didn't mind doing it at all. You. The moment Nicholas got back to his feet, he gave Richard a slap. Even though the impact left the ladder dazed, he had no idea what he had done wrong. Show some respect to Ms. Tanner. You're not qualified to reprimand her even if she kills me. Do you understand? Nicholas' words rendered Richard speechless. Boss is truly madly obsessed with her. When Sophie came up to Nicholas again, she unleashed a punch upon his chest. The strike was so powerful that he spewed blood upon impact. Why aren't you fighting back? You know I'll never lay a finger on you, Sophie. My feelings for you are true. His love for her was an even stronger reason for him to hold back. In that case, should I be thanking you too? Where's Butterfly? I'm the one you want. Why did you have to kidnap her? A syringe loaded with medication was then brought out by Nicholas. I know you very well, but I don't want to harm you. Once you inject this into your body, I'll release Butterfly. At the end of the day, this was a matter between the two of them. There was no need to drag others into it. Do you think you can stop me from leaving with her? Sophie was amused at his attempt. Don't test my limits, Sophie. You know the evil that I'm capable of. He had no qualms about ending someone else's life. Nicholas, why do you refuse to give up? Am I that attractive to you? What choice do I have? You're the one my heart belongs to. Fine. Without any hesitation, Sophie stabbed the syringe into herself and stared directly at him. Are you satisfied now? It's time to release her. This has always been between the two of us and has nothing to do with anyone else. Nicholas was surprised at how smoothly his plan went, for Sophie would never tolerate anyone threatening her. In fact, she hated it when someone did so. Sophie, you. What's wrong? Didn't you set this condition yourself? I just did what you wanted. Are you trying to go back on your word? You know, your dishonesty is what I hate about you the most. I know you like Tristan instead of me, but is he an honest man? I don't think so. The mention of Tristan threw Nicholas into a jealous rage. Why can Tristan easily have everything that I want? As the drug's effect kicked in, Sophie could feel her strength leave her. It was then that Nicholas walked up to her. All that doesn't matter anymore. From today onward, I'll be the only person you love. Richard, bring Ms. Sekelsky here. When Richard led Butterfly out, the latter was saddened by the sight of Sophie. Sophie, why did you come? You shouldn't have. He wouldn't have done anything to me. Butterfly was naturally aware of Sophie's plan. Yet they had failed to capture Padma. Consequently, it would be a disaster if Sophie's memories ended up being switched. Are you all right? Butterfly rushed over to give Sophie a hug. I'm fine. You know very well that I'll never let myself be taken advantage of, but what are we going to do now? After being captured, Butterfly had no way of contacting Sophie. Therefore, she was clueless as to what the plan was. Everything will be fine. You should go now, as there's nothing you can do by staying back. No way. How can I abandon you at a time like this? Nicholas is a madman who's capable of anything. At that moment, Butterfly realized that there was something wrong with Sophie. Are you okay? Why do you look so pale? Were you injected with something? Butterfly could recognize the signs after being injected with a drug when she was in Englander. Nicholas was someone relentless, after all. Just stick to the plan, Sophie whispered in Butterfly's ear. Leave at once. Do you understand? There's no way I'm leaving you here alone. What if something happens to you? You must listen to me. I can still be of help if I stay. Butterfly truly felt lost. Release Butterfly and let her go, said Sophie to Nicholas. Boss, we can't free her yet. Otherwise, release her. We're better off without her around. All she'll do is get in our way. Nicholas was cognizant that Butterfly's presence would spell nothing but trouble. Go now. After giving Sophie a worried glance, Butterfly had no choice but to leave, making her feel as if she was a failure. Now that I've done what you requested, let's have dinner together. It's about time to eat anyway. Nicholas had always wanted to share a meal with her, but never got the chance to do so. Now that the opportunity presented itself, he wasn't going to let it slip through his hands. He had already ordered dinner to be prepared with the menu filled with Sophie's favorite dishes. Thereafter, Nicholas and Sophie took their seats opposite each other. Sophie, it's just dinner. Does it really disturb you that much? At the very least, can you not keep scowling the entire time? Nicholas, do you think I'm in the mood to have dinner with you now? Where's your hypnotist? Why isn't he here? Isn't he desperate to have my memories switched? It seems that you already know the truth. In that case, why did you still come here? Does Butterfly really mean that much to you? Nicholas couldn't fathom why she was willing to go the distance for everyone but him. Why don't you make a wild guess? Sophie didn't answer his question. Although the dishes served were delicious, Nicholas' presence alone made her lose her appetite. No matter that, I'm still happy to see you here. If you're willing to stay by my side, I will consider not switching your memories. He was in love with who she was, after all. Moreover, He was willing to give in a lot just to accommodate her. Nicholas, do you really think you can leave with me? Jipsdale is Tristan's turf. She couldn't understand what was going through his mind. He would insist on doing something despite it being impossible. For you, even death isn't going to stop me. Did you move yourself to tears? Sophie asked sarcastically. All this while, the only thing he did was stir his own emotions, not mine. Nicholas let out a wry smile. Do I really repel you that much? Why don't you like me? Sophie ignored him. Taking in Tristan's demeanor, Sean and the others also felt helpless. They knew that without Sophie by his side, Tristan would definitely lose control of his emotions. At that moment, Butterfly had also returned. Her heart also ached when she saw Tristan in that state. Mr. Tristan, I'm sorry for always causing trouble for you all. I'm truly a burden. This matter has nothing to do with you. Go back and get some rest. Tristan was well aware that was Sophie's decision. Still, her decision was too dangerous, and that was why he was so anxious. What if Sophie really forgets me? What should I do? What if she insists on leaving with Nicholas? What about me then? Mr. Tristan, don't worry. We've made the necessary preparations at all of the entry and exit points of the country. There's no way Nicholas can escape. Felix reassured Tristan. Only then did Isabel find out what had happened. She immediately ran over. Sophie. She wanted to ask about the situation, but at the sight of Tristan's mien, she caught herself. Isabel felt utterly useless. Many things had occurred recently, yet she was completely clueless and unable to assist. This feeling sucks. Felix poured her a glass of water. Don't worry. Sophie will be fine. We'll bring her back safely, so rest assured. Isabel didn't respond. She merely held the glass with her hands and sat at one side. At that moment, she didn't want to cause any trouble for everyone, so she could only try her best to lower her presence to avoid affecting others. Butterfly, will Sophie be all right? That Nicholas is really a psychopath. Isabel only dared to confide in Butterfly. Butterfly patted her shoulder. She'll be fine. Sophie is very capable. She knows how to handle things like these. Therefore, there won't be any problems. We must have faith in Sophie. Aureus came over as well. Seeing him, Tristan felt slightly more at ease. Aureus, if Sophie's memories were really replaced, can you restore them? Tristan asked. Aureus shook his head. I've never studied this area of expertise. I came here just to see if I can help out with anything. Although he had a doctorate in medicine, he had never learned hypnosis. Even if he started pursuing knowledge in that field now, it might be too late. Tristan's facial expression turned a few shades darker. Seeing Tristan like that, Aureus surprisingly didn't diss him. Don't worry. Sophie will be fine. We must believe in her. She's a medical genius. There's no way that Padma can hypnotize her. Besides, Nicholas won't harm her, so everything will be all right. I trust her, but I still regret letting her go alone. He couldn't bear to let her take any risk. He simply couldn't bring himself to do it. Tristan had already planned their future, and he wouldn't allow any accidents to happen. Richard contacted Padma. Since Sophie had arrived, there was no time to lose. The food Sophie ate was adulterated with sedatives. At that moment, Nicholas had carried Sophie to the bed. He stood by the bedside and watched her sleep. She's so obedient when she's asleep, not making a fuss or looking at me with an expression I despise. This feeling is truly wonderful. How I hope this can last forever. Richard knocked on the door. Come in. Boss, Padma is here. She's outside. Okay. Nicholas riveted her eyes on Sophie, unable to look away. Boss, Ms. Tanner will belong only to you in the future. She will love you wholeheartedly. Only then did Nicholas leave the room. Padma was sitting on the couch and drinking juice at that time. She liked freshly squeezed juice, so as soon as she arrived, She asked Richard to prepare the beverage for her. Where's she? Are you confident? Nicholas wanted everything to go unerringly. Moreover, Sophie shouldn't suffer any harm. He couldn't endure anyone hurting Sophie, including himself. Padma furrowed her brows. Are you doubting me? If you don't trust me, I think we can call off this deal. Now. Padma was prideful. Many people doubted her abilities when they saw her young age, but she didn't like others regarding her with a look of mistrust. She was the best hypnotist in the world, capable of hypnotizing any person in her care. Padma, I want a foolproof plan. The plan has been foolproof when you sought me out. Nothing will go wrong. Padma got to her feet. Let's go. Nicholas led her inward. Padma smiled when she saw the girl lying on the bed. She's indeed beautiful. No wonder Nicholas is resorting to all means to have her. Padma. Nicholas warned her. Even though Padma was a girl, he didn't like the way she looked at Sophie. How petty. All I did was glance at her. Don't you think you're exaggerating? He doesn't have to react in this manner. Besides, I'm also a girl. That's enough. All of you should leave the room now. I don't like people to linger around me when I'm performing the hypnosis, Padma uttered coldly. She needed a quiet environment for the procedure. Padma, if anything happens to her, I'll never let you off the hook, Nicholas said threateningly before leading Richard out of the room. Outside, Nicholas stood before the floor-to-ceiling window the whole time, unable to calm down. He didn't know if he was doing the right thing. Still, as long as he could have her, he didn't care if what he did was wrong. Richard made him a cup of coffee. Boss, go and get some rest. The hypnosis will take some time, so take a break. I'll call you when it's over. Boss hasn't had a good rest since Ms. Tanner came over. It's fine. I'll just wait here. Richard, do you think I'm a lunatic? Is this why I'm determined to have her without regard for her wish? Boss, you haven't done anything wrong. You can have whatever you want. What's wrong with that? Tristan also stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. He had no idea what Sophie was doing or experiencing. The feeling of not knowing was driving him crazy. Sean walked up to him. If she really forgets you, what will you do? Unexpected things might happen in this world, after all. Sophie was undoubtedly competent, but what if a mishap truly befell her? I don't like such a possibility at all. Sophie promised that she'd never forget me, and it's because I trust her that I'm allowing her to do this. Sean handed Tristan a glass of red wine. Since you trust Sophie that much, rest for a while. All we can do right now is wait for her news. From the moment they made that decision, the only thing they could do was wait. Taking the glass of red wine, Tristan took a sip of it. Okay. In truth, he detested such a decision. He would rather kill Nicholas and resolve the problem once and for all. Meanwhile, Isabel had not eaten ever since she came over. Thus, Felix had someone deliver some food. Eat something. Your body won't be able to take it if you starve yourself like this. Thank you. Utter helplessness swamped Felix when he heard Isabel thanking him. Ugh. How did things come to this? They were initially the closest people to each other, yet their relationship had soured right then. Verily, he could not accept it. Isabel, Felix, I think I've already made things clear enough. Henceforth, we'll only be ordinary friends. This time, Isabel was exceedingly firm. Since I've taken that step, everything shall remain as it is. Got it. Inwardly, Felix was beyond wretched. I really don't understand why she must break up with me. Anyway, it doesn't matter as long as she's happy. He then added, all right, don't worry. I will no longer bother you again in the future. After saying that, he left. At that moment, everyone was worried about Sophie. As such, he could not focus too much on Isabel. When Isabel noticed that all of it was her favorite food, her nose stung. She knew that it had always been her who was willful all along. However, she truly wanted to break up with the man this time. More than 10 hours had passed when Padma stepped out of the room, looking like death warmed over. The instant Nicholas heard the click of the door opening, he rushed over. How did it go? His palms were damp with cold sweat. In response, Padma gave a dip of her head. As I've said, you can rest easy, considering my capabilities. Now, you're the person she likes. Her assurance brought a smile to Nicholas' face. Really? That's great. Take Ms. Padma to her room to rest, Richard. See what she needs and satisfy her as much as possible. He immediately went into the room. Sophie was still unconscious, so he did not know whether Padma was telling him the truth. At the sight of the woman on the bed, his heart skipped several beats. Don't worry, Sophie. I'll be good to you. I'll treat you like a princess and make you the happiest woman in the world. I'll never allow anyone to pick on you. So long as she loves me, I'm willing to give her anything she wants. That's the only wish I have. 2 hours later, Sophie woke up. Nicholas stood in front of her, yet he did not dare utter a single word. What's wrong with you? Sophie was the first to speak. When Nicholas saw that there was no longer any resentment toward him in her eyes, his heart started beating again. Who am I to you? He could not help asking. A frown marred Sophie's countenance. Have you lost your mind? Nicholas. Who are you to me? Do you need me to answer that? Aren't we going to get married soon? Words eluded Nicholas as surprise, delight, and excitement swept over him like a tidal wave. He felt that everything he did had been worth it. I love you, Sophie, he gushed emotionally. Sophie was still as indifferent as ever, though she showed no aversion toward him. Nonetheless, Nicholas was already contented. Padma has truly accomplished it, and we're going to get married. This is great. I'm going to prepare everything needed for the wedding. I'll definitely give her a wedding she'd never forget. I'm hungry. Let's go out for dinner. Getting out of bed, Sophie headed out of the room. Sure. Nicholas had no objections to whatever she said. She can eat whatever she wants. Truly, I don't mind at all. Seeing that the man was going out, Richard followed at once. Where are you going, boss? I'll go with you. Sophie abruptly stopped in her tracks. Why are you following when we're going on a date? What's the matter? Do you want to be the third wheel? Richard was rendered speechless. You don't need to tag along, Richard. Just go and do whatever you want. Right then, Nicholas was over the moon. Boss. It's Jipsdale here. What if something were to go wrong? Boss can't possibly go out alone. Are you going against my orders now, Richard? Nicholas' voice turned cold. He did not want Sophie to be unhappy. For that reason, he was determined to fulfill her every request. Still, Richard was worried. He scrutinized Sophie, but the latter was no different from before, still as aloof as ever. Have her memories really been changed? All right, let's go. Nicholas left the house with Sophie. He initially wanted to wrap an arm around her shoulder, but an icy glare from her had him nix the idea. I'll go slow. It's okay, for I've got plenty of time. He brought her to the restaurant she liked and ordered a lot of her favorite dishes. Meanwhile, Tristan also sped to the restaurant upon learning that Nicholas and Sophie were there. However, he did not make an appearance before them. Vexation flooded him at the sight of his fiancée dining with Nicholas, but he could not do anything about it. Halfway through the meal, Sophie excused herself to the restroom. In the restroom, Tristan was already waiting. As soon as he spotted her approach, he pulled her into his arms. Sophie, do you dash? His gaze remained fixed on her. She must still have her memories, right? Do you not trust me? Sophie merely allowed him to hug her. At first, she planned to scare him for a bit, but she could not bring herself to do so after glimpsing his anxiety. Are your memories still intact? Tristan held her tightly. That hypnotist really didn't change her memories? I love you, Tristan. And that holds true forevermore. No one will be able to make me forget you. How could I possibly forget him so easily? Isn't that hypnotist greatly renowned? What happened? Hadn't I told you that I'm a genius? That hypnotist got hypnotized by me instead, Sophie declared proudly. Otherwise, my research on hypnosis in the past few days would have been for nothing. Subsequently, she added, but she's indeed highly skilled. If it weren't for the fact that I caught her unaware, I would never have been able to hypnotize her so easily. Hence, Padma was truly convinced that she had changed Sophie's memories at that time. Dipping his head, Tristan captured her lips. I love you, Sophie. I'm never going to allow you to do something so dangerous again. You've got no idea how terrified I'd been. Don't worry. Such a problem will never exist again in the future. I love you. Okay, I've got to go out now. Give me another 2 days. I want Nicholas to believe that my memories have been changed before I erase his memories. Tristan wrapped his arms around Sophie's waist. But I don't want to let you go at all. I don't like to see you with him. Not even for a second. Who does Nicholas think he is? Sophie kissed him on the corner of his mouth. All right, it's really time for me to go out. How about you go out and kick up a fuss later? Make it believable. If he doesn't show up, Nicholas likely won't believe it so easily. Okay, I'll play along and give you another 2 days. Then, you're to return to my side, okay? Of course. By the time Sophie exited the restroom, she was greeted by the sight of Nicholas smoking outside the door. It was already a miracle that he did not barge in. Why are you here? Has the food been served? Yes. Come, let's go and eat. Aren't you hungry? Nicholas loved her so much that fear gripped him shortly after she had left. He was afraid that she would never come back. After the two of them had returned to the table, Tristan suddenly showed up. The moment Nicholas caught sight of the man, panic struck him. He trained his gaze on the latter, wondering whether Sophie would remember everything when she saw Tristan. However, Sophie did not react in the slightest. It was as though she did not know Tristan at all. Come here. Sophie. Tristan beckoned at Sophie. Yet, Sophie continued eating and ignored him. Who are you? She did not even bother lifting her head, merely tucking into the food indifferently. Nicholas was beside himself with joy. Sure enough, she doesn't remember him anymore. This is really great. My dream has finally come true today. I asked you to come to me, Sophie. I'm your fiancé. I'm Tristan. Do you not remember me anymore? If Tristan had not met with Sophie in the restroom and personally ascertained that her memories were intact, he would undoubtedly have been devastated at that instant. What are you doing, Tristan? Sophie and I are getting married soon. I'll invite you to our wedding, okay? In the past, he had always envied Tristan. At that moment, he felt that it had all been worthwhile to see the heartbreak on the man's face then. Do you believe that I'll kill you, Nicholas? Enraged, Tristan charged over and grabbed Nicholas by the collar. Conversely, Nicholas stared at him fearlessly, his eyes brimming with provocation. I bet you never saw this coming. Tristan. Tristan punched him in the abdomen. Just when he was about to hit Nicholas again, Sophie stopped him. What's your problem? Don't blame me for retaliating if you continue behaving like this. I'm your lover, Sophie. I'm the one you've always loved, Tristan explained. Alas, Sophie remained entirely unperturbed. Worse still, she helped Nicholas up. Tristan clenched his hands tightly. Despite knowing that it was all an act, he was still irked to the core. The urge to chop Nicholas' hands off right then and there seized him. Are you done eating? If so, let's go back. Sophie's voice remained unchanged, but Nicholas found her incredibly gentle then. Yeah, I'm done eating. Let's go. Nicholas led Sophie out of the restaurant. Tristan gave chase, but Sophie stepped in front of Nicholas and shielded him. I'll never let you off the hook, Nicholas Sable. Try it then. His forces must be evenly matched with mine since I'm still alive and kicking to this day. Mind your attitude, please. I abhor your attitude toward my fiancé, Sophie warned. I'm your fiancé, Sophie. He's nothing. What exactly is wrong with you? Although it was for show, it was already upsetting Tristan badly. In response, Sophie quirked a brow. Ha, you're my fiancé? What is he then? She retorted unceremoniously. He's a piece of trash. What else could he be? I love you, Sophie. Bye. Unfortunately, Sophie had already gotten into the car by then, paying no mind to Tristan's words. In the car, Nicholas gazed at Sophie intently. I'm truly glad, Sophie. I'll definitely make you happy. As long as she remains by my side, I'll do everything in my power to give her a blissful life. We're getting married soon, aren't we, Nicholas? No one will be able to ruin things. Do you love me then? Nicholas ultimately could not resist giving voice to that question. He really yearned to hear her say that she loved him. Would I be marrying you if I don't love you? I don't think I'm such a kind of person, Sophie countered. Yeah. While Nicholas did not get to hear her confession of love, he was already elated that she agreed to marry him. I swear, Sophie, as long as you're willing to be with me, I'll give you whatever you want. He had loved her hopelessly for too long a time. Therefore, he could not help feeling euphoric that she could sit beside him calmly then. Meanwhile, Tristan wore a dark look on his face ever since he returned. Seeing that, everyone else did not dare ask him anything. It was not until Sean came over after settling everything that he approached the man. I trust there are no problems on Sophie's side? I don't think there's anything wrong. Otherwise, he couldn't possibly be sitting here so calmly. No. Why are you unhappy then? Everything's fine as long as there are no problems. Why is he down in? Despite knowing that all this isn't real, I'm still very much irritated to see Sophie eating with him. Hearing that, Sean burst out laughing. All right. Since Sophie is beyond capable, she'll surely be able to erase his memories. This is indeed best solution. Not only would it save us from incurring any losses, but it would also resolve some huge trouble. Yeah. Okay, tell everyone to go and have dinner. There are no issues. I've already ascertained it personally, and there are really no problems. Great. Sean proceeded to urge everyone to have dinner. However, Isabel remained motionless. What are you doing, Isabel? Go and eat. Sophie will definitely come back. Just go about whatever you should be doing, everyone. When Arius heard that, relief suffused him. Sure enough, there's a gulf between a genius and the ordinary person. She'd only studied hypnosis for a short time, yet she could hypnotize the world's top hypnotist. All right, come over and have dinner, everyone. Then you can go about your own matters. When there's really a need, we'll gather again. After all, they were not needed right then. When dinner was over, Isabel was still worried, so she sought Tristan out. Are things really fine, Uncle Tristan? Does Sophie still remember me? She was simply worried that Sophie had forgotten all about her. If that happened, she would be devastated. She remembers you. Go and look for her if you don't believe me. Inwardly disgruntled, Tristan was not in the mood for explanations. Okay. It was nothing more than a casual remark, but Isabel went and looked for Sophie for real. Isabel was a public figure, and ordinary people could not enter the mansion Nicholas was currently staying in. Nonetheless, she still managed to get in. Unfortunately, Isabel was denied entry when she arrived at the mansion's entrance. What are you doing? I'm here to find Sophie. Don't try and stop me. Please leave, Ms. This is not a place for you to horse around. It wasn't until the person pulled out a gun that Isabel finally took a step back. What are these people doing? I just want to meet Sophie. How could you do this to me? Listen to me. Hearing the commotion, Richard stepped out and saw her causing a scene. Please leave, Ms. Lombard. We don't welcome you here. He then turned to the men and instructed, keep an eye on her, and don't let her in. Of course, He knew who Isabel was. The Lombard family would never let them off the hook if they had actually done something to her. However, the place was still off limits to her. He still needed some time to observe whether or not Sophie's memories had been changed. Felix had driven over immediately to look for Isabel when he heard she had come to find Sophie. Sure enough, the woman was still stopped at the entrance when he arrived. He quickly got out of the car and grabbed her hand. "What are you doing? Let go of me, Felix. Just leave me be." She needed to see Sophie, or she wouldn't be at ease. "Don't you know what place this is, Isabel? Nicholas is the kind of person who can kill someone without batting an eyelid. Just why did you come here?" Felix was worried about her. No one could understand how he felt when he found out that Isabel had come to such a place. "We've already broken up, Felix. There's no need for you to care about me anymore. It's my own business. No matter what happens to me from now on, it's got nothing to do with you." In response, Felix shoved her into his car. "I can't just leave you be even if we're already broken up. I want to care about you." He then slammed the door shut once he finished speaking. What the heck does she want? Why is she so relentless this time? Isabel jumped in fright upon hearing the loud slam from the door. It was her first time seeing Felix angry. Soon after, another thought surfaced in her mind. What gives him the right to be angry? All I wanted to do was to meet Sophie once. "Felix, I know you're frustrated with me, but I never forced you to interfere with my business. Why on earth are you mad at me?" "I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at myself. I miss you, Isabel. But what about you? Why are you being like this? Why can't we just date normally? Why did things have to be like this?" Isabel felt bad when she saw how aggrieved he was. Felix was just concerned about her. "All right. That's enough. Sophie is fine. She just has a plan she wants to execute, that's all. You'll only disturb her if you go. Let me send you home first." Isabel said nothing else. Truthfully, her heart ached when she saw how exhausted he looked. However, she had never learned how to love someone, and it was why she kept hurting Felix. Isabel clenched her fists tightly. "I'm sorry, Felix. I really am a horrible person, and I don't deserve someone like you. I'm more suited to be alone instead of dating someone." Felix sent her to the Lombard residence. "Rest well, and stop running off like that again. You're a high-profile celebrity. It's dangerous for you to roam around." Isabel kept silent and merely nodded before she headed in. Meanwhile, Felix stood outside and smoked a cigarette, only leaving after a long time had passed. Upon seeing Isabel had returned, William asked in concern, "Did something happen recently, Belle?" Though she looked the same as before, something about her felt different. "Did Felix pick on you? Just tell me if he did. I'll avenge you." William would never allow anyone to bully his precious granddaughter. Isabel walked over and wrapped her arms around his neck. "He didn't, Grandpa. Didn't you always hope for us to break up? I've already broken up with him." William stayed silent at that. While he disliked the fact that Felix was older than Isabel, William did not despise the man to the point where he wanted them to break up. After all, he could overcome anything as long as his granddaughter liked it. "Felix picked on you, didn't he? Otherwise, why would you two break up when things were going well?" To William, it was still Felix's problem in the end. "He didn't, Grandpa, really. He was really good to me. I just thought I might not be suitable for him, that's." William was livid when he saw how Isabel was acting. How can this be? There's no way she would have thought about nonsense like this if she liked him. It must be because Felix didn't do well. That's why he gave Isabel the wrong impression. "It's okay, Belle. Let's forget about it now. I'll introduce someone 100 times better than he is to you. Let's not be sad anymore. There's no need to be sad about it." He left, but there are more out there for her. Belle is still so young, and she's beautiful. She sings well too, so there's no way she can't find a better boyfriend. Well, I don't want to date anymore at the moment. I just want to focus on singing for now. She had never excelled at anything ever since she was young, but Isabel really did want to do well when it came to singing. Okay. That works too. William did not try to force her to do anything. She was still young after all, and there wasn't a need to rush these things. Sarah saw Felix still standing outside when she returned. She got out of her car when she saw his dejected state. Giving him a pat on the shoulder, she voiced, "Are you and Isabel going to continue acting like this?" As Isabel's aunt, Sarah was well aware of her niece's character and knew things must have been difficult for Felix. "I don't know. I didn't want to break up, but I don't have the right to say no to her." He couldn't bring himself to refuse as long as it was something Isabel wanted to do. Honestly, this is a good thing. You'll both have time to think things through when you're separated. Okay, Sarah. I still have some things to do, so I'll get going now. Let's talk again next time. With that, Felix got into his car and drove away. Sarah shook her head at that. Love could really hurt people sometimes. Nicholas stayed by Sophie's side the whole time. He was afraid that everything was only a dream, which was why he stuck by her side constantly. "Nicholas, did you used to follow me around like this back then too? I dislike people who are too clingy. You know." The man found himself unable to answer that question. A smirk appeared on Sophie's face when she saw this. "I was just kidding. Don't take it to heart." "Sure." Nicholas then poured himself a glass of wine. "Do you want some too?" he asked. Sophie nodded in response. "We'll be heading back to Anglander the day after tomorrow. Let me know if there's anything you want to buy. I'll get them ready for you." Nicholas didn't want to continue staying at Jipsdale. It was Tristan's territory, after all. He wasn't at ease being here.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.